Today, man, we're going to be going over the best coaching adjustments to use in college football 27. Now, I have played a ton of head-to-head games so far since this game has came out on Thursday. I think I've played about 100 or just under 100 games. I messed around with these coaching adjustments with a ton, macros. I've messed around with all that stuff a lot. So I would say I got a pretty good understanding of what all this stuff does. So I'm going to kind of talk about it, explain it, and basically just show you guys what I'm using. And, you know, obviously down the line, maybe I might switch some of this stuff up. Maybe they drop an update or stuff like that. But for right now, I feel like the coaching adjustments I have set, I think these are the best ones in my opinion to use. So let's go ahead and run through these things, man, because there's a lot of tabs. And this, you know, it hasn't been like this before. They did kind of go crazy with this. So start off with tempo adjustment. This is what you're going to want to leave on normal. This is, you know, chew clock, turbo, no huddle. This is some of these, like, it's just stuff you're going to adjust throughout the game. It's not something you really want to have set in the actual coaching adjustment screen. I mean, besides normal, the only other thing you should probably really ever be doing is chew clock, because I mean, there's really no point of no huddle, because you can literally just hold Y after the play. So just leave that on normal. Deep pass catching, I also have leave this on balanced. If you have played any head-to-head in this game, you already understand people catch everything on this game. With the catch meter or without the catch meter, it does not matter. So don't touch any of the catching stuff. Leave all that the same. Same thing for blocking. You can put it on a conservative. I don't know why you would ever want to put it on conservative, but if you put it on aggressive, this is actually going to lead to holdings. I actually played against someone last night, funny enough. He was on aggressive blocking, and I knew this because he was getting holdings and stuff. You could just leave this on balance. Trust me, it does not matter. Your wide receivers will pancake linebackers in this game. It just does not need to be touched. For auto pass protection, this one is definitely important. You guys know there's some plays in the game where it might start out with like a half slide to the right or a full slide to the right. And if you don't know what that means, is some plays you'll pick and they'll come out with like their own pass protection, right? Like, so you'll see like the little blue bars under the offensive lineman on the right side or the left side. You really do not want that. It's just going to lead to guys running in free. Originally, I was using empty for the auto pass protection, but now I'm actually using base. It's up to you to decide which one you want to use. Empty or base are the best ones. I think I'm kind of liking base a little bit more right now, but I would just stick to those two. For the untarget user defender, this is another one I originally had left on, but I would actually leave this off. I'll say if you're someone that likes to run the ball, you're definitely going to want to leave it off, because what's going to happen is your linemen are just not going to block whoever their user is, which is, you know, if he's running right at you and you got maybe like let's say you're in like an I form or something with any type of lead blocker, the fullback's just not even going to touch their user. And I originally had it on because it's good to have when you're throwing the ball, because you want to untarget their user, so they can't try to disengage with the line and, you know, try to get guys to run in free and all that stuff. So I just leave it off, and if I have to untarget them, I just do that in game. If you don't know how to bring the pass protection screen up, it's just LT or L2, whatever console you're on, the back left trigger, and it'll bring up all that stuff. So I personally would just leave this off. So these two features we're about to look at next are some new features they added into the game. Help scrambling QB and zone window awareness. So help scrambling QB, I actually have on conservative. I'll be honest, this is like the one setting I will say I haven't tried a whole lot, but with it on aggressive, it's supposed to be like, let's say you snap the ball, hike it with the QB, you're throwing it, you roll to the right, there's pressure on you. Your wide receivers are going to just do a better job ad-libbing and trying to get open on their route, but I just feel like sometimes they might do it a little bit earlier, or they might do it in a situation where they didn't need to. So personally, I just leave it on conservative, because I feel like when you're rolling out the pocket, it's really easy just to playmaker guy and kind of do things yourself. That's my opinion. If you want to put it on aggressive, you can, but I'm going to leave it on conservative. Now, zone window awareness, this is one I would definitely leave off. I actually tried this on at the start, and I tried it a ton, and the big, what it's supposed to do is, you know, in real life, when guys are running routes and they're going against zone, they'll sit down in an open spot of the field to get in between the zone. It's pretty much how you beat it. Not like how in the game, guys just run their routes all the way through all the time. So that's what the zone window awareness was supposed to be. But the problem I was having is sometimes they were trying to sit down, and, you know, they're not really completely open. The DB's kind of just waiting behind him, and then they're breaking it up. And I even noticed they were doing it in man. So personally, I would definitely leave this one off. I get what they were trying to do with it, but they still got some tweaking to do with it. Moving on to the defensive coaching adjustments, we got a lot more. There's a lot more on the defense side than the offense side. The first thing we got is the auto flip defensive call. I like to leave this off. This allows you to be able to, flip your defense if you want to, even if it doesn't, like, let's say, for example, right, the offense comes out in bunch. Your slot corner is going to line up on the bunch side, but if I want to, pre-play, I could flip my defense and have the slot corner line up the opposite side of the bunch. You know what I mean? Which I don't know why you would actually want to do that, but I would just rather be able to dictate my flip my defense whenever I want to. So you can put that on if you want to. I'm not gonna lie, you don't have to put that off. I think I used to actually play with it on for a while, but I do play with it off now. Cornerback matchups. This is something you're going to want to leave by balanced. In the past, what used to always happen with this is, let's say I put it on by like speed, height, depth chart, whatever it is. If they motion a guy across the field, it used to always just pretty much completely break the game. It's something that you just never really want to touch. Look, they might have fixed it, but now, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have not tried it, but there's just no reason to touch it. Leave it on balance. As for defensive motion response, I actually leave this on default because it's not going to help you in man. Your man is going to be what it is. It's really just for a zone. It'll just have like a zone kind of go out there a little bit more. That with it on default, like let's say they come out in, I don't know, let's just go bunch again. Let's say they come out in bunch. The stack is on the right. The guy motions to the left. I think one of your guys will just kind of go out to that left a little bit more to play the motion. So I just leave it on default. There's really no point in putting it on disable because if you're a man, I think it really just comes down to what your coverage shell is. It doesn't really have anything to do with the defensive motion response. So just leave that on default. Defender aggression. This is one of the news. A lot of some of the stuff we're going to get to. We got a lot of new features they added for defense. Defender aggression is one of them. So this is actually related to the defensive line. Now, I don't know how true it is, but supposedly with this on aggression, it just makes your guys pass rush like crazy. Like they want to kill the quarterback. I've had this setting on aggressive since the game came out, and I mean, I can vouch. Guys do one swim move and they're getting to the quarterback. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's just because the O-line play is just that bad in this game and the D-line play is just that overpowered, or I don't know if it's because the defender aggression. I genuinely just don't know. Now, it does say it's supposed to take more stamina away from your D-lineman and stuff, but I look, with the pass rush I be getting sometimes just setting 4, I'm definitely just going to leave this thing on aggressive. So this next one is for the run game, gap integrity, another new coaching adjustment they added. I have this on aggressive. I played on it with balanced, and I've played on it with aggressive. In my opinion, there's never a reason to put it on conservative. What this is supposed to do is basically putting gap integrity on aggressive, which is what I have on. And a run play, your D linemen are just going to try to rip through the O lineman and just get to the backfield. Putting it on balanced, I think it's just kind of like a dice roll. They might kind of just hold their own and just, maintain where they're at. Or sometimes they might just go through and, try to make the play. Conservative, they're just literally just gonna hold their lane, and that's that. With how broken the run game is in this game, because it's broken, and I'm not saying that because it's hard to stop the run. It's hard to stop the run for some of the wrong reasons. I like the run game being meta and all that stuff, but it's also a lot better than it's supposed to be for the wrong reasons. But I think gap integrity on aggressive is the best because it gives you the best shot of your D lineman just trying to rip through the O lineman and maybe making a play in the backfield. So I'm probably just going to leave that on aggressive. A bunch of this stuff we're about to look at right here is stuff that's been in the game. It's for read options, triple options, all that stuff. The option read key, you're going to put this on conservative. This is just for standard read options. Your DN will just sit there and wait for the quarterback to keep it. Got to have that on conservative. Option pitch key, I personally like to put this on aggressive. This is for speed options. Putting it on aggressive, the defender that's kind of in the key, the read guy between the quarterback and the running back, he's going to go after the running back, leaving the QB untouched. That's personally what I like to do. So you pretty much get the QB one-on-one with your user, and you can just try to lay him out. The RPO read key, also like to put this on conservative. This is if the quarterback is able to keep it off of RPO, so it's kind of similar to a triple option. So let's say they're running like an RPO bubble, but the quarterback can also keep it. The DN will wait for the QB. Basically the same thing as an option read key. RPO pass key, putting this on conservative will make it to where your defenders will be more worried about the pass part of the RPO than the run. Very important because, let's say you got a let's say you're not ready for the RPL, you got like a little curl flat right there in front of the bubble. The curl flat will be more worried about playing the bubble than the actual run part of it. We got some more stuff that's been in the game forever. We got strip ball. You already know what that is. I like to keep that on balance. Tackling, you definitely want to keep this on balance. I put it on aggressive just in situations. Maybe there was like a minute left or something like that, and you know I'm in a situation where I gotta cause a fumble, and I put it on aggressive, and they were throwing hit sticks, but they didn't land not one of them. I'm talking about, dog, they cannot tackle in this game. So you know, if you, the only time you want to put that on aggressive is in that late game situation, but just know you're still probably not gonna make the tackle. We're now gonna be moving on, talking about some stuff that's pretty important. I kind of talked about it, I think, a little bit earlier. We used to have this thing called base align. This is kind of the closest thing we have now to having base align in the game. If you don't know what base align is, basically we were able to just line up in our defense how it looks in the formation screen, not giving a damn how the offense lines up. Like, let's say, for example, the offense comes out in bunch. Our outside corner wouldn't be lined up right on that very last guy in the bunch. He would be out, just lined up outside normally, which is big, you know, going against bunch, because you don't really want to be lined up right up on the guy. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. You can actually do this now with some of the new features they added. Personally, I mean, obviously I would say copy these, that's why I'm doing the video, but corner depth, I have this at 5. Now a lot of this is for kind of more so zone. If you play man, not a lot of the stuff isn't really gonna, well, with the safety stuff will kind of matter, but well, I guess if you run a cover 0, just all right, let's just get to it. The cornerback depth, I have this at 5. This isn't gonna make it to where like he's I'll after I'm done showing this part right here, I'll go into practice so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. It almost looks like my defense is in a base line, but cornerback depth, I like to put this at 5. Cornerback width, I like to put this at wide, and wide is the big reason it looks like a base line. For example, they come out in a bunch. My outside corner is not lined up right up on the bunch. He's lined up on the outside of it. You'll see when we go into practice. Safety depth, I've been fluctuating between 9 to 5, 9 to 5. I don't know. I think I'm going to go 5, but you can go 9. And all this stuff, by the way, you can change throughout the game. So if you feel like you need to change some stuff, you can. This is just for when you get into the game. This is how your base stuff is going to look, but you can always change this. I think I'm going to go safety depth at 5, but sometimes I think for the run, I like to go 9 because sometimes you just don't want to get your safeties caught up in traffic in the runs. It's if you know, you know, because the run game is just chaotic right now. But I think I actually am going to go 5 for my safety depth. Safety width, I like to have these guys in pinch, so they're all kind of in that middle area. Safety midpoint, I do not touch. And then ball hawk, I like this on aggressive. This is something I actually kind of used to be in the game. If you guys remember play ball, it would just make it to win the balls in the air. Your DBs are aggressive, they're attacking it, they're trying to get it. Definitely want to have that on aggressive. But I'll go to practice real quick. We still have some more stuff we got to talk about, but I just want to go to practice real quick so you guys can see what my alignment of my DBs looks like when I'm out there. So you guys can see this is pretty much what the alignment of my defense looks like. With the corners, they're kind of lined up to the outside of the bunch, which is really big because originally they were lining up like right here the last few years with no baseline, which is really not good. Now I can get them to the outside, and it really does kind of look like I have a base align to my defense. Now let's say I come out in a man, the man is pretty much still going to look like as if I was in zone in a sense. Well, actually, okay, well, not as much, because you can see now this DB is actually kind of lined up a little bit more on him now because it's man. That's what I was saying before. Like, if you play man, I'm not saying those settings don't completely matter, but they're going to be lined up a little bit more on him too. You know, if I press or whatever, why is the... Okay, for some reason they won't press. I don't know. Practice is still a little buggy on this game, but you can see by the safeties when we put them at 5, they're pretty much damn near at the line of scrimmage, which is really good for the pass. But you know, even for the run, it's still really good. But sometimes for the run, I kind of like to have them a little bit more back, like right here, just because I don't want them to get all caught up in the traffic and stuff. Sometimes I might bring one down, and then maybe I'll use another one back here just so I'm a little free with my user and I can make the play with the run. But it's up to you. Like I said, if you think if the safeties are too close, you can put them back at 9. Completely up to you, which I don't know. I'm kind of fluctuating back and forth with that. I just changed it again. I think I am going to leave my safety depth on 9. I don't know. I feel like 9 is, I don't know. It's up to you to decide. I'm going to go with 9 for my safety depth. Now moving on to the cover strategy. You can see ton of new settings in here, plaster and all this stuff. So starting off with the zone strategy, this is a new setting they added. I like to have this on aggressive. It just makes it, man, to where your zones will just When the ball gets thrown in the air, outside thirds are just going to break on things faster. You know, everyone's just going to play a lot better. I don't see anything bad in it being on aggressive. Especially if you play zone the last few years, you understand that like these guys react to absolutely nothing. So if there's a way to get them to react to things faster, then sign me up for it. So aggressive, definitely think you need to put it on that. All these plaster settings right here, these are all for man coverage, and I just started recently messing around with these yesterday. I could be wrong, but I think plaster might also work for zone coverage, but from my understanding, based off the settings I have on for this, so for plaster I have aggressive, plaster timer, or plaster trigger I have on time, and plaster time I have on aggressive. Essentially what this is supposed to do is basically, let's say I'm in man coverage, right? My defender is just gonna literally kind of like put his hand on the receiver's hip and damn near grab him and just kind of lock on to him. That's based off what these three settings I have. It's just going to lead to way tighter man coverage. And like I said, I think it might also work in zone. Like after a certain amount of time, I think like defenders might just, you know, who after a certain amount of time, whoever they're near and they're on, they'll just lock on to them and just play them. I think the only downside of the settings I have on with this are that if a QB scrambles, maybe after a certain amount of time, you know, guys might not react to him, which I will say this, though. If you got, like, let's say, like, the QB's about to scramble to the right, and I got, like, a little 5-yard curl flat out there. If you send that guy, he'll go out there and get him like he normally should. But I would definitely recommend having these on if you play man coverage. Now, this right here is the one setting I'm going to admit I understand how roll coverage works and all that stuff in like real football, but in terms of like all the settings they have with it, I am a little confused with it. So this is the one I have left on default. I'm just, you know, gonna leave it like that. As for zone drops, you guys know you can change these throughout the games, but how I personally like to start out my game is my light blues, the cloud flats. I like to have these on anywhere from 15 to 20. That's typically how those fluctuate in a game for me. The curls, these are your purples. I usually have these on anywhere from 5 to maybe even 0 yards. Occasionally might go 10 if it's a 3rd and 4th and long, but for the most part, these are kind of playing the underneath for me, 0 to 5 yards. Hook curls, these are on 5 yards a lot for me. If anything, the only time they're going up is maybe we got a sack, we got them on a 3rd and 15, now they go up to 15 and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm a 15, 5, and 5 guy. Now, the rest of this stuff right here is kind of match related. So I'm pretty sure it's mostly match related. You can see I have not touched most of this stuff. Cause it's a match stuff. I could be wrong if anyone out there's watching the video and they have more of an understanding of it than me, but I think a lot of this is match related. I do not play match. I play a zone drop type of defense and a little bit of switch sticking activities going on. You guys let me know, but that is pretty much the coaching adjustments. One last thing I guess I could throw in there is, I guess probably my passing settings, because that is, I guess, kind of a coaching adjustment also, right? I thought I was back on placement accuracy, but I was actually trying out placement last night, and it was good for a couple games, and then it was some dog shit. The reason why I was doing that is because I was missing a lot of those on placement accuracy. So I'll be honest with you, I was going to throw this in here as a bonus, but I generally don't know what I should be playing on right now, placement or placement accuracy, because I am just missing a shit ton of throws. But the one thing I do know is I like to have passing slowdown. Don't turn that on. That's for challenges. It like makes the game like start lagging and stuff. It's really weird. Pass lead increase. I know a lot of people like to play on small. I like to play on none. I don't know. That's just how I've been. In reticle speed, I always have like to keep that on 3, but I don't know. What are you guys running right now? You guys running placement, or you guys running placement accuracy? Because I just feel like I'm missing so many throws. And one more question too, for anyone that plays cut out there. Do you, the ability dot, or I guess you don't have to play cut, but just in this game in general, does anybody know, does dot work on placement accuracy, or does it only work on placement? Because I'm about to pick up a QB later tonight when I hop on that has dot, so I would like to know if what setting I kind of need to be on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the coaching adjustments though, man. They added a ton of new settings. If there's anything else that you guys are still confused about, man, you guys can comment down below. We do also stream over on Twitch. Link that's down in the description. We're live every single night, running up some gameplay, playing head-to-head. so you guys can interact with me over there as well. We are going to start getting out some gameplays and stuff. I'm going to get some playbook breakdowns based off the stuff that I'm running. And also we're just gonna get out content in general. So if you guys do enjoy that, man, and you're not subbed to the channel, definitely want to sub to the channel. I also got a main channel as well. The link will be to that down in the description. I'll be posting Madden and stuff when that comes out. So if you're interested in that, man, check that out. But if you guys did enjoy this video, man, drop a like. And that's pretty much all I got for this one, though, man. So till the next time, I'll see y'all boys in the next one.
That's all, folks.